Welcome to another episode of Savagetimetv TV. I'm your host, AB Brisley, and today I have special guest, my boy Jimmy, with me today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Yeah.
You feeling good? You feeling great?
Yeah, solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know, let's hear your full name.
My full name is Richard. That's it.
Yo, my man is crazy. I thought he had something else in store for y'all. Maybe later in the interview, but all right, my man Richard, also known as Jimmy. For the people that still don't know, where are you from?
I am from a small village in Lagos. Nah, it's a big village, but we be big stepping. Lagos, Nigeria, we out here, we do shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so you came from Nigeria. When did you move here over to the States?
We moved out here in 2000. Yeah, 2000, like right after Y2K.
Okay, I'm about to say, you got here right in the mix of all this shit. It was popping in 2000.
I think it was definitely iconic, you know, sliding out here. It was a lot happening. They lost some buildings and some people. It was really hot about that. I was a Muslim family, so it was like, you know, they mad. We gotta, you know, be palatable and, you know, still big up Islam, praise be to Allah and all that, but, you know, niggas was mad at us. We're Muslims and shit, you know, so we had to be different.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, I mean, 2000, Y2K, music was different. I loved it.
Okay, so you came over from Nigeria. We're gonna get into that a little bit later. Everybody knows coronavirus, the pandemic's been fucking some people up. For some people, it was a pandemic. Could you talk to us about how maybe the last year, how COVID has impacted you?
I think COVID in general, COVID kind of fucked a lot of shit up. I was doing a lot of things. It made me pump my brakes a lot and really like fix my energy towards, you know, just coming up with backup plans in life. You know, I was going to an art school. Well, I was shifting to go to an art school in Los Angeles to do animation, but the move from like the East Coast to the West Coast, right in the midst of a pandemic,
LA was shut down too.
Yeah, exactly. LA was shut down. So it was like I was really in a position where I had gotten out of the military. It was about a year and a half of being out, and right when I was like getting my footing and, you know, being confident and saying, yo, I'm gonna do art and creative stuff, you know. I have a direction that I'm trying to, you know, launch myself in. It seemed like everything just kind of shut down in a real ominous way, you know. It was like, is this a sign that, you know, I should pump my brakes or go harder?
Or go,
And I got I got invited to a show out here. It was an artist called Brendan Sadler, a friend of mine. She was a producer, so she was working this event that was like Marvel H&M collab, so she knew some of the artists, and she knew that, well, she liked my art and, like, you know, when we were younger, so she liked that I was still doing art as an adult, so she wanted to put me on. So I came out to Atlanta with Barry, actually.
Shout out to the boss, Stephon Barry. It's your birthday today, when we recorded, August 11th.
So I came out here to Atlanta like that February, like a couple of weeks before COVID started, and I got a speeding ticket out here on my way out of the city, and it was a super speeder because I'm really irresponsible. So fucking, it was a pending ticket, and I'm like trying to leave the East Coast, but I got a court date in Atlanta, so it's like I can't really bust moves like I want to. So I had to kind of, you know, figure out how I can make shit happen and still, you know, be an upstanding citizen essentially, and not, you know, be like, I didn't want to avoid Atlanta on some like, yeah, you know,
I got a court date out there. Can't be caught out in Atlanta.
Yeah, you know, I didn't want to be that nigga. I never wanted to have these little fucking narratives tacked onto my fucking identity. I wanted, you know, my freedom and shit. So I was like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do in Atlanta. And then, you know, at that event, I met artists that were just really like, you know, open to talk about art in a more organic way than I had encountered in California. You know, everybody was weirdos out there. Like, niggas was like on some schemy, a bunch of cokeheads, really. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know, like Southern hospitality in juxtaposition to artwork was definitely refreshing because I have lived in places where you have the stuck-up artists and you have the distant artists, but you never really bump into the friendly artists. You know, so I think I like that about Atlanta. So it's definitely something worth exploring.
And we're both Navy veterans, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Navy. Y'all be on some wild shit every now and then, but you know. We used y'all, you used us. It was a good little trade there. Could you tell us about your time in the Navy and just how maybe that shaped you a little bit?
Yeah, it's the worst decision I ever made in my life.
The worst?
Speaking, yeah, definitely.
Tell me how.
Yeah, it was one of them things where my back was against the wall. My mama was gonna kick me out the crib. I didn't really have nowhere to go. Right. And my girl and I, we were saving up for a 1-bedroom downtown, but my family dollar job was not cutting it. I was 17, I was a high school dropout, and I wanted to do artwork, but I wasn't getting like the cosign for this shit, so fucking, I had to join the military, and it definitely put a lot of distance between me and creativity, so I spent like 4.5, 5 years not touching the canvas. So I didn't like that shit at all, you know. Even like a lot of the niggas that knew me in the military was surprised that I was even capable of doing like creative shit. You know, niggas started seeing.
Because you're such in a box when you're in the military.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you got you legit, you know, the haircuts, the fits, how you talk to people. You know, you have to adhere to military standards in and out of work and shit. So outside of that, you know, I mean, when are you gonna be able to bust open the canvas and, you know, really showcase some individuality, you know? So that distance definitely, it fucked me up a little bit because I got out and I was 23.
That's when I got out, yeah, 23.
Yeah, so I was 23 years old when I got out of the military, you know, honorable discharge or whatever. But I'm looking at the portfolios, the creative portfolios of artists that committed to it when I took this, you know, hiatus. And it definitely was bugging me because I was like, I could be better than these niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason I'm not is because I was deployed every fucking year, you know?
Yeah,
it's
that
like
the Navy's different, man.
Shit. So I don't know, yeah, that definitely put a chip on my shoulder, you know, watching niggas do shit. And then even when I was overseas, you know, every single country I was at, it was somebody that was American, that was there, that was doing what I wished I could have been doing. It's not like I'll be in the country with them, in the bar with them, we're the same age, having a conversation about how I just wish I could be doing creative shit in Australia, creative shit in like Singapore. We're both in Singapore, but you just got a cooler job than me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm bumping into people like this everywhere I'm going, you know, all over the world. There's just people that's doing art. So I'm like, it's a global conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've talked to artists that don't speak English, you know what I'm saying? We just talking about the work, but we're having a conversation that other people don't really get to have. So that definitely, like, I hated having to talk about the military shit, you know, that shit wasn't me. But I did get, like, you know, benefits from it. I got dope-ass tattoos, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, tattoos
pretty
is hard.
sick ink.
Yeah, the Asian, definitely over there on that side of the world, you could definitely get some crazy ink. I saw on your IG, man, it says, I draw shit I like.
Yeah.
So that makes me ask, when did you first pick up the pencil and start taking your thoughts and putting them on the canvas? When did that first come to you?
I don't know, maybe like 2 lifetimes ago, I was probably like a fucking artist in Egypt or something.
You know what? I relate to that. Go ahead.
I don't know, it's too much of an instinct for me to feel like it's new. It's definitely, I was talking to somebody about it in school, and we were like, sometimes, you know, it's like you bump into niggas in art school that are learning art, and you bump into people that are refining their own skills, you know. I definitely don't feel like I was learning no art. I do feel like I'm just, you know, polishing up the shit I can do. So when you're talking to the people like that, you know, it's often like reminiscent. It's like, yeah, bro, sometimes I be feeling dumb when I can't shade shit that I know how to shade. And sometimes when I do shit, I just be surprising myself. Like, yeah, that's what kept like I was using a technique, I didn't even know the name of it until I went to art school. They was like, yeah, this is some Italian shit. It's called chiaroscuro. I was like, word, I was doing this.
You was just doing it natural.
Yeah, you know, it's just some shit me and the homies was doing in fucking middle school and shit.
Okay. Would you say that your style of art fits into a specific genre?
I don't even like shit like genres and categories and shit, you know? Like, I think that it's limiting, and it's definitely restrictive language that we place on things we don't really understand, you know? Instead of letting it be obtuse, niggas want to categorize it. I think art should always be free range and shit, you know? I do mix medium because it's hella mediums that I can mix. So, you know, I'm gonna keep mixing it and doing shit I like. Like I said, I draw what I like.
Exactly,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? So it's as simple as that. You know, I try not to think like too critically about it because I think it gets weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost, you know, like how you said the Navy keeps you in that box. You kind of don't ever like to be in that box.
Completely anti that shit.
Completely
that was the chip that I got on my shoulder afterwards. After the military, it was like an insatiable desire for freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you on that. I always tell people the Navy, like I've never been to jail, but I tell people this, in jail, you only have to be max most of the time. Of course, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it's 2 to a cell. Navy, it's fucking 6. In a smaller, probably a smaller space than a cell. So it's like.
Your ship was smaller than mine.
Yeah, I was on a cruiser.
I was on an aircraft carrier, so it was 6 for you. It was 116 in our, like 116 bunks. Like
in the compartment.
Yeah, in the compartment. So it's like people are fighting for like crazy things in these situations. You know, it's like I remember dudes were fighting for like it would be food issues, you know, dudes are fighting. It'd be like, you know, some dude was stealing people's like fucking boxers, fucking your toothpaste, your toothbrush, your deodorant, your towel. It's prison. You know what I mean? Like it's way different when it's 100 and something dudes that are like within the age. It's like prison age, prison physique, prison mental. And you over there is niggas playing spades, niggas playing dominoes, niggas rolling dice, and we're fist fighting because, you know, it's like, what the fuck else are we supposed to do when you put us in this, like, this fucked up social experiment like this, you know? You got racist niggas that gotta get along with not racist niggas. I remember the first time I bumped into a racist nigga was in the military.
Real talk.
And we're over here and this nigga is like, where I'm from, we hang your kind from trees for fun. I didn't even know, I never heard no shit like that. And it's me and the homie from California. So we never bumped into no racist white boy before. And this nigga's like, we hang your kind from trees for fun. We thought it was cap. I'm like, you joking, bro, ha ha, bro, stop saying shit like that.
I wasn't joking.
You're gonna get in trouble. And then I remember we didn't even know to be offended by racism because it was such a parody of like, you know, it was like what you see on TV. You know, like the homies from the Bay Area.
Damn near the Boondocks.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's made up type shit. So we thought this nigga was just being a funny white boy. I'm like, you just one of them edgy comedians. And then, you know, another white boy understood that this nigga was being serious. So he was like, hey man, don't say shit like that, bro. Whoopty wop, all this. So then he had to tell us that like, yeah, bro, my bad. Hensley says crazy stuff like that. He doesn't speak for me, all this other shit like that. And I really, me and the homies later on that day, we were smoking a cigarette and we're talking about how like, yo, I think we just experienced a little bit of racism. That nigga said he hung niggas on trees for fun. You think he was talking about us? And you know, we over there really trying to put 2 and 2 together. We was like, now what would make him feel this? Like, I'm talking man. Like none of us was like, we were all so, we never bumped into no Southern nigga racism. It's different, you know, it's just a different flavor. So the Navy put us in like proximity to all these different, like America is a country that's made up of semi-United States with varying ideals across the board. And you don't really bump into that reality until you're face-to-face with representatives from each different state. And you're like, we are not the same. You know, we're living in the same country, but your ideals differ, your language is bizarre. Like niggas from Mississippi, I don't know what the fuck they talking about, fam. Arkansas, that's not real. Dakota, what's happening there? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all of these states, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at the fact, Hawaii, they don't fuck with us, bro. Them little fucking Hawaiian niggas, they don't fuck with us, bro. They don't, you know.
I was out there for 2 years.
They
I lived there.
Yeah, exactly. So you know that if you really politic with them niggas, they don't rock with us.
They don't rock with nobody that's not.
They Native Americans, and they on some like, you people are here vacating on our land, upcharging us for milk and orange juice.
Are they not though?
That's exactly, I mean, think about it though. They like, so like in the military, we was like, you had to see all of this and live with it, you know? So it's like, at one point, you know, you want to fight everybody, you know? You trying to fight your homies, you trying to fight niggas you don't fight. Everybody can see you. Cause it's like 45 days out at sea, you have not seen land. You don't know if it's Monday or Sunday. You just know that this big nigga is trying you.
That's it. That's your reality. Like,
you know that this nigga is trying you, he's disrespecting you, and he think you pussy. And this is the military, and it's like, I'm gonna be out at sea for another 4 or 5 months or whatever. So if I'm gonna be out here, we need to understand really fast that I'm not the one. I'm not the one for this.
I'm not the one.
So yeah, you know, you're right. It is like prison. I had a lot of friends that were in prison, and when I left the military, during our time in the military, we was really bonding. Like, my niggas is say shit, I'm like, bro, I hate it. I hate that shit too. He like, nah, I'm talking about some prison shit. I'm like, that's crazy, bro. That sound like some shit that happened.
Sound like we used to call our ship. It was CG65. We used to call that shit Penitentiary 65. Because I was like, bro, there's people that go on it, don't make it off. There's some people that go on it, never come out the same.
Yeah.
Like, that I always tell people the Navy is so much different because we go out into the unknown. There's no go home. There's no, let me get in my car to get away. No. You're on the ship.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. But who do you say would influence you, if anybody, in your art? Or even if it's not a person, like, what are your influences when it comes to art?
What my influences that I try to go for when I'm like doing art is definitely more emotion based, you know? Like, it's definitely, it's an attempt to decipher emotions on canvas. That's definitely what I go for. I try to make it unhinged, and I try to make it definitely like visceral. Like, I want it to be feelings, you know? I think that that's something that I've been obsessed with since just maturing as an artist, you know, because being a nigga that can draw, sometimes, like, for a long time, it was, like I said, it was such a reflex that it was a trick I used to do for bitches and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I used to get pretty girls to look my way, you know, draw some shit for them so that they would, you know, so it was that before it became something that it's like, all right, you know, what do I feel and how do I use this as an
how does it make me feel?
Communication, you know, how can I, you know? So yeah, that's definitely like, there's a lot of intrinsic thoughts that come in, you know, deciphering like what projects I want to do next. But it's not necessarily, I look at other artists and like, not to jock their shit, not really. Like, I'm not really the type of nigga to see your shit and want to recreate it. Some people do that shit, but you already did it, you know? So I'll be bored in that process because I've seen it already. You know, I'm more interested in trying to decipher, you know, shit in my cabeza, you know? Like, I don't know, I feel like that's how you grow as a person.
Okay. As a black man, do you feel there's more pressure for you to succeed in the art game?
No.
No?
No.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't really care about being black. I think that's a black American thing. I think that the race hierarchy for me comes with tribalism a little bit more. As a Nigerian, I feel more.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
but not as being.
So I asked that as a Nigerian, because you know what, you're right. Let me rephrase that, because you're right. So as a Nigerian, would you say?
As yeah, I do. I gotta put on for the whole tribe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here, you know, I gotta put my team on my back, you know, we out here from Lagos to Tokyo to Atlanta, all around the world with this Team Nigeria, baby. Proud. Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right, because it is different. Being a black American, I wish we could really dive into that, but like, let's go on to something else. What surprised you the most as your journey as an artist? What has surprised you, maybe took you off guard that you didn't expect?
Both how receptive people can be when you say that you're an artist, and how unreceptive people can be when you say, like, it's so surprising how polarizing it is, you know? Some people will be like, you're an artist and that's dope. And some people will be like, you're an artist, and their immediate thought is to try to flood you with any insecurities that they had that prevented them from pursuing it. And that, you know, is like, your insecurity shouldn't stop you from, like, you know, acknowledging that, you know, the shit that I'm doing, or even just, you know, saying that, like, just being regular with the shit, you know? So it was one of those things that, like, bumping into people, telling people that I do this, and seeing the surprise came with the people who fucked with it versus the people who didn't, you know? That was where shit was like, all right, I wouldn't expect this, I would expect this, I wouldn't expect this, I would expect this, you know? Like, I come from a very conservative Muslim family. And believe it or not, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hell that awaits the artist is the hottest because of his flagrance and his ego. So,
that's hard. I feel like that kept you up, but like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, that's hard. Like,
so I was born a sinner in my eyes.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
That's tough. Hey, yo, that's really crazy. Like, we gotta talk about that off. Like, that's tough. But what we was talking about outside, man, NFTs, man.
NFTs.
Let's talk about that and how, for one, people that don't know, NFTs, non-fungible token, digital currency, blockchain, things like that. Can you tell me and tell the people how NFTs are gonna affect art?
So I think if NFTs are done correctly, it's two ways that NFTs can affect art. One way is creating ownership for the artist, but another way that, and in the creating ownership thing, it means that, you know, the plight of the artist isn't going to be indicative to the struggling artist, broke artist thing. So you can create a sustainable life for yourself with creativity, which is inevitable. You know, we're watching our society advance to a point where menial jobs that are just like, you know, niggas hitting shit with hammers, things like that are phasing. You're watching how what's demanded from men isn't the same. You know, you don't need to lift shit no more. We got tools. You don't need to fucking build no house. You're expected to be able to buy a house, you know what I'm saying? So it's more coveted to be this gentle, like, as we're shifting into this version of society, nobody's looking at arts and crafts as just, you know, a throwaway hobby now. It's equity now that's being discussed, and ownership. So that conversation is a double-edged sword because it does provide sustainability for this, but art is always, it has always historically been this ungoverned, like, platform for large, unregulated laundering of money by, you know, really rich and shady niggas, you know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
So now we're trying to regulate this thing that, you know, like, if a rich, shady nigga wanted to, you know, exempt himself from some taxes and shit, he'll find an artist that he fucks with and a piece of art that he barely likes, and he'll buy it for like a couple mil. And that way he doesn't have to pay that shit on taxes or whatever. He doesn't give a fuck. I mean, that's light money to this nigga. He doesn't believe that this artist is gonna create no sustainable income with the money from that shit. He's just like, I need to do some tax evasion right now, so I'm gonna buy some art. Rich have always done that shit, you know? It was a piece that sold in Italy for like, it was a banana stapled to the wall, and they sold that shit for $500,000. You know, and when you see shit like that as an artist, you
I saw some shit where the dude sold, it was nothing.
Yeah, but they do shit like that
He sold it
flagrantly. It's a fuck you to everybody, because it's like, yes, I'm up to no good. Yes, I have a lot of money, and no, I will not follow your rules. I'm gonna buy this painting that you don't understand for a price point that I set. So the money that you want me to pay you in taxes, that exact number that you asked me for, I'm gonna go buy a painting, suck my dick. That's what the other conversation is, that NFTs are gonna be in conflict with, because like right now you'll see like an NFT that makes no sense, and then niggas be like, oh yeah, this shit just sold for 27,000. You're not wrong if you don't think it makes sense. It sold for 25,000 because that nigga had 25,000 to spend, and he chose to spend it that way. So it's like this whole like platform exists as a means of creativity, but it's also a thing that niggas have historically used to get away with doing whatever the fuck they want.
Okay, all right. And one thing I like to always talk about is mental health. I think it's something that needs to be talked about, isn't talked about enough. Could you tell me what your definition of mental health is and how you keep your mental health on the up and up day to day?
I think that my definition of mental health is just awareness. You don't gotta be stable. You just gotta be aware of your personal situation. Mm-hmm. If you know what's going on, it doesn't it's no normalization of mentals. It's no ideal template for anybody to perceive the world. But I do think you should be aware of how you see it, so that you know how your interactions affect people that also live in this world. Divinity exists in us and out of us and shit, So your mental needs to be able to perceive that, this world is interactive. So mental health is awareness for me, just being aware enough to, be present.
Okay. Wrapping it up, could you tell us what your goals are for the next 2-3 years as a person, as just an artist?
I just want to be the Hokage.
I want to be the Hokage too, though.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
The people that know what we're talking about. The people that don't. But yeah, we both want to be the Hokage. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be truly interesting.
Yeah,
and I don't want to move.
Nah, fuck that, bro.
So. So yeah. Where can all your new fans catch you at? Go see your work. Where can they find you?
So I am now on the interwebs. I created a website. I created an account on the Instagram. It's called laughs. I don't get why. It's As Told by Jimmy. Jimbo is what I go by sometimes, but As Told by Jimmy. As Told by _Jimmy. I do art that I like. I've said that a couple of times. Check it out. Thank you.
All right, this is Savagetimetv. I'm your host, A.B. Brisley. Again, I got special guest, friend of the network, my boy Jimmy. This was great. I'm here in Atlanta now. We're here in Atlanta. We're killing it. We're fucking it up. So check us out, Savagetimetv. Another episode. Peace out.